It's a bonus episode. We're talking 80s inspired Christmas poems with Santa's poet Amy. Hit it. It was the 1980s. Big hair was in. MTV ruled the day. Spuds McKenzie was everywhere. And the whole decade was one big neon tone poem. I'm your host, Jerry D, with another episode of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, and fads. If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, we got it covered. Now, joining me is a very special guest. You'll know her as the North Pole's resident poet laureate. It's Santa's poet, Amy. Amy, how's it going?
It is going fantastic. This is the best time of year.
It really, really is. It's also, at least for me, because I work in a Christmas store, it's also the most tiring time of year.
Oh, we can absolutely relate because it is the most tiring up here at the North Pole as well. But I don't know if tiring is actually the best word. It's exhilarating.
Yes,
It's just,
yes.
yes.
I feel like this season has really crept up on us this year. Like everything seems to be pushed back a little bit. And I don't know if it's just because I'm here in Texas and the weather hasn't quite turned cold yet, but it just seems like most people haven't quite really thought about Christmas yet. And so now it's like we're getting deeper into the season and I'm starting to feel that buzz of electricity and the stores getting packed. What's it like up there?
Oh, well, it's very, very busy. The elves are working so incredibly hard, and Santa is just taking care of everything. And I'm doing poetry to keep people's spirits up. But I mean, people's spirits here rarely are down. So
I, I
it's
can
just
imagine.
it's very vibrant and alive, and people are just getting so excited for Santa's big ride. It's just such an exciting time. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I can
yeah.
imagine because I remember as a kid, like Christmas Eve was almost a bigger thing than Christmas morning because you just to have that anticipation. There's like an electricity around just this something's just different, when you're waiting and then Christmas morning comes and the smile on your face and the joy and the wonder and the awe. It's just a very phenomenal feeling that I hope to bring back with some of these stories talking about the 80s. But before we dive into some of these and your poetry, how did you become Santa's poet? Like tell me a little bit about yourself.
Of course. So I actually was doing improv poetry in Boulder, Colorado,
Okay.
and Santa had actually heard about what I did. I had no idea. So on November 10th of 2017, in front of my fireplace, there was a letter from Santa and Mrs. Claus. And then on November 11th of 2017, I got a sleigh ride up to the North Pole. It took 4.659 minutes to get there. And it's better than any Disneyland ride or anything. So they had me do poems for them on the spot. And they liked what I did so much that I was named the North Pole Poet Laureate, or abbreviated Santa's official poet. So,
Nice.
but it's undescribable from a poet just being up in the sleigh and just seeing things go by at lightning speed, and
Right.
then you get to this beautiful, majestical place, and it's just so incredible.
That's amazing. I I'm not a poet. I can sing a little bit and play guitar and I'll sing other people's poetry, but I'm not really a poet myself. Why poetry? Like how did you get started with that?
Well, I've been doing poetry since I was little. So when you're in school, you know how you get in trouble for drawing pictures?
Yes, I
Well, the
definitely do.
teachers never read what you're writing. So you can write as many poems as you want and not listen to the teacher. Not that I'm recommending that, or Santa is either, but it was a way just to express myself and be heard. And I just kept going. And then I found improv makes it more light and vibrant and alive, even though it might not be as perfectly rhyming or the perfect beats. It's just because it's so in the moment. So that's how I
Mhm.
did it. And I can't believe that Santa heard about me. Like it's just, it blows my mind even to this day, even though it's been a few years.
That's
So
super cool. I got to talk with, the Santa from an alternate universe, Earth 1980S, 1980s, I guess it kinda spells out, and he was really cool, but I've never met our Santa, like our real Santa, so what's he like? How's that?
it's just, have you ever been around somebody that just being in the same room with them just makes you smile so much you almost want to laugh?
Mhm.
That's how it is. There's this extreme joy, like the way people feel down on the rest of the earth, like when the first snow comes, if they have snow where they live,
Right.
or when the first Christmas lights go up, or when you see people you really love. It's just all those feelings mixed into one. He's just so deeply kind and fun and jovial. And what a lot of people might not know, there's a bunch of elves working on stuff in the background, but I don't know if you could hear that. But he loves telling different special Christmas Eve stories when he gets back from his big Christmas Eve ride. So he's a great storyteller. He's just absolutely amazing.
Right on. Oh, now I hope I get a chance to meet him because that just sounds like my best friend. You know?
That's what he is. He's like everybody's best friend, and he has
Yeah.
no judgment. The thing that Santa has that sometimes we forget about is
Mhm.
no judgment. I mean, and he's actually talking about phasing off the naughty list because that's not exactly how he wants people to think. He wants people to be kind, not to avoid the carrot or the stick being coal. But he just wants people to be kind just because everyone has that inside them if they choose to listen to it. But not everyone does. So he gets tired of the coal thing. He wants it to be a nice list or almost on the nice list, but not necessarily a naughty list.
Okay. Well, that's definitely different. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
Alright, so you said I remember as we were corresponding, you mentioned how the elves kinda tutored you a little bit in some of the improv style. So, what was that like, learning from elves and kinda working with them on your, your improv poetry?
It is so much fun. And that's what they reminded me too. Because sometimes when you do improv, you can think too much or just
Mhm.
not be in the moment of joy or go, oh, wait, let me think, let me think. And they just got me to be more in the moment. They got me to put more singing into my poems, which I sometimes do, and more joining along stuff. So it's not just me. Like sometimes while I'm doing the improv poetry, I have other people join along. And the elves taught me a lot of that. Just go for it, be in the moment. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, now I'm excited to hear some of this.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, how does this work? Do I just throw out some 80s things and you'll just make a poem out of them, or, do
Absolutely.
we do it by topic, or how does it?
Well, if you want, I can ask you some questions, or you could just
Sure.
go with
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about the 80s, now don't try to pre-think this.
Okay.
What is the first when I say 80s, what's the first thought that comes to mind?
MTV.
MTV. Okay, got it. So what was your favorite like MTV music? Did you have any favorite songs? You're just like, oh gosh, this is so awesome.
Well, of course, the video for Thriller was awesome,
Okay, got it.
and, I mean, we had a bunch of videos recorded on an old Betamax tape, and, it was just tons, like, from Madonna to Prince to Michael Jackson to, Huey Lewis and the News, just all of those bit Genesis, there was a few Phil Collins in there, just all these great, fantastic acts that, they had videos, and, of course, some were better quality than others, but, a lot of times there were just the bands on the stage singing kind of video, but either way, it was always so fun because we loved the songs. So my when you say 80s, one of the first thing I think of is sitting watching MTV with my dad and my brother. And yeah, that's definitely one of the big ones. And then of course, after that, if you say 80s, I would think of the toys. The toys and cartoons are just awesome.
Awesome. So we'll do another a poem about the toys and cartoons,
Okay.
and we'll focus on MTV. So where were you guys sitting when you watched it with your dad and your brother?
On the couch in our living room. But
Okay.
every once in a while, when we'd go visit my great grandma, while the adults were talking in the other room, then my brothers and I would go to my grandma's room and we would watch MTV there.
Awesome. Did you ever dance with it?
Me not so much. My brother did. He used to put a towel on his head and pretend he was Twisted Sister or Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. I never really did that. I I'm always the guy that would prefer to be on stage playing guitar than like in the crowd dancing.
So
So,
you like to back everything up.
yes, yes, very
Okay.
much so.
Got it. Okay. And I know that your podcast is called Totally Rad. Is that your favorite saying from the 80s? Did you have another
It's
one?
it's definitely up there.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll hear me say like a lot. I say like because I'm from the 80s. Cool. I'll say bummer a lot. But if we're trying to keep this positive, we can steer clear of bummer, I guess.
Totally got it. Okay. Think I have got this. Yeah, normally I'll ask you if you want it like with a little bit of Shakespeare, but I think we should do it with a little bit of 80s
All
instead
right,
of
let's do it.
Shakespeare and keep it not too modern, but not as far back as Shakespeare. So I'm just putting my little chalkboard right there so I could see it. Okay. When you're ready,
I'm ready. Yeah. All right, bring on that totally rad poem.
sitting on the couch with my brother and dad. We were all so excited. We couldn't be sad. It was totally perfect, too. These were the moments that we said, cool, this is what I want to do. And then my brother would put a towel on his head and say, oh, yeah, I'm from Twisted Sister. Cool. Yeah. Here and today. And all these moments and hearing the song, we could sing these tunes all day long or just sit and watch. And I remember too, oh, so totally rad when we were at grandma's house and went to the other room too. And there we see it was MTV. All these moments, all this music too. Thriller got you kind of scared but happy at the same moment too. And Madonna, wow, look at those costumes, would you? And then there was Prince and other people too, and Genesis. And you just felt the beat of the music come through. Before this, it was just records, cassette tapes, 8-track tapes, but MTV had the tubes on the TV with the pictures do glow. So here's to all that time and that incredible, amazing rhyme. And when in my heart I want to say, that was totally rad.
That was totally rad.
And that was the way.
Yay! That was cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I definitely can't do that. So it's very much props to you there because that's just yeah, that's a talent that I don't have. I have done improv before, but that was on like guitar, jazz guitar. So totally different. My thinking words is a lot harder than just making your fingers move. So yeah, that
Oh,
was pretty
like,
incredible.
oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't really do much of that on the guitar at all. That's really impressive to me. I mean, I think the secret is just to believe you can,
Right.
get out of your way, and just let it roll. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection is the enemy of improv
Yep.
because
Yep.
you're just like, oh, wait, that was, wait, nope, that was, nope. And that the odds are just like, just do it.
Well, that's like what I was once told. If you play a wrong note, just lean into it and then resolve it. So that
I
it's kind
love
of the same
that.
thing. It's kind of the same thing. So, like, let's say you have like a C9 sharp 11 and you play an F and it just doesn't fit. And then you just kind of hold it and then you bend it to the F sharp and all of a sudden it works. So
And it sounds even cooler,
it
right? Because
does.
it's like,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's cooler than if, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just I've made up words like to make them rhyme at the end,
Yeah.
just is how it is.
Hey, we'll 80fy this.
Totally rad.
There you
Totally.
go. Oh man. Okay. All right. That was fun. So let's see. Let's do one about some of my other all-time favorite 80s things.
Okay.
80s 80s cartoons and toys.
Okay, got
So,
it.
I'm gonna list some of my favorites.
Okay.
If you've heard of them, great. If you haven't, that's okay too.
Okay.
My all-time favorites were G.I. Joe,
Got it.
Transformers,
Did you have a favorite Transformer?
Optimus Prime. When he died in that Transformers the movie, that was
Okay.
heartbreaking.
Oh,
And
so
I know
I'm
why they did it. They were trying to sell toys and bring in the new wave, but they eventually brought him back because so many kids were traumatized by his death.
Oh, I didn't realize that at all.
Oh, it was
So
awful.
Optimus Prime, what did he just transform into?
Big like semi, like an 18-wheeler.
Okay, got it.
Hmm.
Got it.
Okay. I loved, let's see, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats.
Now Thundercats, I don't know.
Yeah, it was like they were humanoid cats from like an alien planet that came to Earth in like the far future, and they fought mutants and an evil mummy. It was kind of cool.
That sounds cool.
That one, He-Man, was another one of my favorites.
That was a big one.
Yes. I remember I got Castle Grayskull for Christmas when I was 4, and it was one of the best presents I've ever gotten. Um, I still talk about, to this day, I still rave about how I remember just running to the tree and seeing Castle Grayskull there, and it was, whoa, it's the greatest thing ever.
Do you still have him?
I do, yeah. It's much broken down and in pieces, but I still have the basic shell, and it's sitting about 3 feet from me. Uh,
Oh, really? Can I see it?
well, it's kind of, let's see if I
A
can
little
grab. Maybe I'll just try to turn the camera. Um, Actually, no. Hold on. Let me see if I can grab it this way. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it because of
If
my
you put
virtual
it in front, if
background.
you put it, oh my God, that's not too. Oops, there, you just
Oh,
vanished.
sorry. I tried. It's my virtual background sometimes is not the best, but yeah, I mean it was basically like a castle with like a skull up front, and the jaw was like the drawbridge, and it was so cool. He-Man could go in there and you know fight, and it was fun.
That's
Um,
well.
yeah,
It looks
those.
like it's in great shape through the camera, but
Well, looks are definitely deceiving there. The outside actually is not too bad, but yeah, the insides it's pretty much a mess. I played a lot with it over the years.
and you fought inside, so it's like, well,
That's right.
there
Yeah.
goes that plastic part. Boom, boom.
Um, yeah, so those four were like my main ones, and then Voltron was another one with the robot lions, and Mask was pretty cool. That one was kind of like a cross between Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Okay, got it. Do you remember any of the themes that you guys had when you played? Like, did you ever have like reoccurring themes of anything?
I mean, basically, it kind of depended on if I was playing each individual piece or if I was playing with them all just kind of mashed together. But essentially, if I recall, most of the time it was the bad guys were teaming up to take over the universe, and so the good guys had to team up to stop them.
Okay, got it.
It's but most of those toys, there were quite a few that were gotten for Christmas, so there's also a lot of Christmas feels involved in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so cool about Christmas. I mean, Santa loves toys, and that's why he focuses on them, just because the joy they bring. And
Right.
you like you see the kids like, oh, ah,
Hmm.
it's just really cool. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, am I ready? I'm ready. Okay,
if if you don't know some of these properties, it might be a little tough, but I think you got this. This is going to be a good one.
okay. Toy. Repeat after me. Toy poem activate.
All right. Okay. Toy poem activate.
It was a war in the living room. And G.I. Joe got in this big tank and went vroom, vroom. And there you see, oh, yes, he is fighting the enemy. It's the bad guys taking over the world, too. But then Transformer Optimus Prime comes through and he's an 18-wheeler. Then he is a fighter, you know. We knew he could do it. We knew he could do it. So, and when my friends got together too, we would play all these things and the joy and happiness would come through. Then, 4 years old, what did I see? Oh, it was sitting underneath the tree. Oh, it was beautiful here and now. Castle gray skull. And it was the biggest wow. And when the skull would open up inside, you would go on this adventure, right? It was cool beyond all coolness, too. Cool, cool.
Cool.
And the joy did come through. And then Voltron, you'd say, and Mask would come hither this way. But all these bad guys we'd fight, including Thundercats. It would be ultimate delight. And yes, the good guys always won so much that my bracelet fell down as if it just hit the sun. And here are the moments, too. The best part was seeing my family and seeing how joyful I was when each of these presents popped underneath that totally cool Christmas tree. And it did rule.
Right on. Yay.
Thank
That
you.
was fun.
Thank you. I'm going to drop down and get the bracelet that just fell off my
Okay.
wrist.
You know, that's how you know it's live because stuff happens and you just keep going.
Exactly. And like, that's what makes things cool because, like, a lot of times mistakes are the coolest thing. I had a director once in high school, and he said that it's okay when mistakes happen. People go to live shows to see mistakes.
Mhm. Yeah,
One of
it's
my,
true. Yeah.
yeah, one of my favorite things, it's kind of Christmassy. Did you ever hear The Mousetrap, the play?
Yes, Agatha Christie.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I was in the play, and there was a snow machine, and it was supposed to make it look like it was snowing, and you could see it out the window. And right when this guy came in to say his line, he said, "Yeah, it's snowing really hard. The snow machine broke, and all the snow fell." It's moments like that,
Yeah.
you're just like, yeah, it's they only saw it that one time. So yeah, absolutely.
I love and it's like you hear the recorded versions of songs and they're perfectly produced and everything goes well, but then you hear a live version and there really is like an energy that's present that's not there in the recording studio, especially nowadays where everything's very heavily produced. But, there's sometimes there's a couple of flubs. They might not play all the 16th or 8th notes exactly, correctly or exactly together, but it gels in a way because everybody is playing off of each other and there really is something about doing it live that's just so much better. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's why podcasts are so popular and like things like TikTok where you're like just there and it just doesn't have to be perfect. And
Right.
yeah, I think like what would TikTok in the 80s have looked like?
I don't know. I definitely don't know. But there would be a lot of neon, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of neon.
Neon and denim.
And I would go, cool, like so cool, like really, really cool. And instead of being on your iPhone, it would be on this big clunky thing you'd have to
The
like
the
kind
boom
of
box,
carry.
yeah.
But all
Well,
the
ye
cool kids would carry it.
well, yeah, because back then they had those huge camcorders that, like, sat on your shoulder and were ridiculously expensive, and yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Now you got your phone.
that's right, yeah. Ooh, I got an idea. Let's do one about 80s Christmas, like, movies and specials.
Absolutely. Are there any ones you want me to do you want to shout out your favorites? Do you want me just to go, oh, by the way, Trains, Plays, and Automobiles that I know you covered the other week,
Yeah,
my favorite movie of all times.
it's so good, isn't it? John
It's just
Candy is a treasure, and it's a shame we lost him so early, but it
yeah.
was yeah, he plays that movie so perfectly. The emotion, he's able to get right to the core of that character, and yeah, that's a fantastic one.
It is. At one time, I was overtired and watching it with my friends, and I was so overtired I had to close my eyes so I'd stop laughing so I could breathe again.
I understand.
It's just such a good movie.
I definitely
So,
understand that, yeah. Okay, so one of my all-time favorites is Christmas Vacation, of course,
okay,
with Chevy Chase and Beverly
great.
D'Angelo. Um, the squirrel scene still gets me to this day.
That's when they start eating the lights, right? The light
Wha
cord?
when the cat eats the cord and does get
Okay.
fried, but later they find the squirrel in the real tree that he chopped down, and then the squirrel's kind of running amok throughout the house,
Oh, but
and
the squirrel's like an evil squirrel.
kind of
It's like it keeps saying, right?
something like that.
Okay.
And then Scrooged with Bill Murray. That's another one. It's kind of a play on A Christmas Carol where he's a TV exec. So I really love that one as well. That's one that we always have to watch every Christmas. Otherwise, it
Okay.
just doesn't feel like Christmas. Of course, A Christmas Story is a classic where, he's going to shoot his eye out.
I'm so glad he doesn't really shoot his eye
I'm
out.
so glad he doesn't either. Yeah.
He breaks his glasses.
Home Alone's technically from 1990, but if you think about it, the 80s or a decade technically starts in, one and it goes to the end of it. So we can count Home Alone as well. I don't mind.
Well,
And
and the other
then
thing too is it was shot in the 80s,
it
just
was,
released in the
yeah,
90s.
yeah, exactly. Yep. So so there's those. And then as far as TV specials go, there was Garfield's Christmas.
Oh, I never saw that. Okay.
Oh, it's so good. It's another just really emotional one where the grandma has like a nice moment reminiscing where she's just petting Garfield in her lap and she's reminiscing about her late husband. Oh, fantastic. A claymation Christmas celebration by Will Vinton. That was another funny one. It's hosted by two dinosaurs and it's kind of like an exploration of Christmas carols and it's told through claymation. Really great. Claymation, that's another thing that seems very 80s claymation.
Yeah. Well, was the Nightmare Before Christmas, was that?
It was like 93 or 94.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And then let's see. What's Ziggy's Gift is another one. Ziggy had a little special.
Whatever happened to Ziggy?
I'm not sure. He kind of just faded away. I guess a lot of those comic strip characters kind of did in general.
Yeah, yeah. Because I just realized I was a Ziggy fan, and then you said that I'm like, whatever happened to Ziggy?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Where
I
is
used to
Ziggy?
read, Hagar the Horrible and all the Drabble and all those comic strips, and now it's like there's no papers, so there's not really any comics either. So
Oh, that's what happened.
yeah, yeah, the internet.
Uh, okay. Think we got it. So, would you like a touch of Shakespeare in this one? Just because
Yeah,
it's
let's change it
80s,
up a
but
little
it's
bit.
still
Sure.
we're getting the Christmas Carol a little. Um, so yeah. Okay.
All right.
Got it.
Let's tune in to this poem.
Okay. With a Hazar, that's cool. One, two, three.
With a what?
Hazar, that's cool.
Huzzah.
Hazar.
Huzzah. Okay.
One,
Huzzah.
two.
That's cool.
One more time, even bigger.
Huzzah. That's cool.
Thine funnest moment. 'Tis not benign, but watching the Christmas carols. Thy heart feeleth sublime. The Christmas movies I doth mean from the 80s. Yes, and today you can to them stream. But when you look at Christmas Vacation too, and that little squirrel's like coming in the tree around the house, and he's got Chevy Chase. Oh, yes, he does too. And then there's thine cat. Oh dear, of all of that I rather not talk about thy cat of Christmas Carol too, or else thy eyes will go along. But then you just see, oh yes, indeedy, there is Home Alone. Oh dear, a moment I must doth bemoan as the little kid fights off the bad guys too. Boo, boo, try it. Boo,
Boom,
boo.
boom.
And then thou dost see, oh, Scrooge. Yes, indeedy, with Bill Murray. And he is so very Scrooge, And the one with the monster of all the heads inside doth make your heart doth go, no. But on the Christmas Story too, thou thinkest thy dream can come true with that perfect gun he doth want, but he might shoot his eyes out. 'Tis no fun, but he gets it, and his eyes doth sparkle too. But then he breaks his glasses, and there's another. What shall we do? But then all thy TV specials thou dost see. The Garfield Christmas is joyous and heartfelt, very definitely. And thy claymation Christmas too, with one dinosaur going, woo, woo, as they comment on it too. And Ziggy, whatever happened to him, he doth gone with a whim. But in the 80s, thou doth know Ziggy was joyful, and Christmas time did so radfully flow.
Yay! Bravo!
Grazie, grazie.
That was good.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I love the
Wow.
80s.
There was a lot, yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in the '80s, and some
There
great
really
poetry,
is. There
and some
really
great
is.
poetry as well.
That is true.
Do you ever do slam poetry?
Well, that's actually one of the ways I decided to start doing improv. I would do slams, but my pre-written poems are really short. And I
Mhm.
said to myself, well, most of my poems I write down all at once anyway. So why don't I just try to get a suggestion and just try and see what happens? So I did that
Okay.
with some slams. And I still didn't win, but
That's
I thought I
okay.
wasn't winning because my poems were short. I don't know. I didn't do that many slams, but it's fun and it's great to be around other poets and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Right on. Well, I'm sure the elves love it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we do it together. We do different poetry together and they like teach me and then I, do some with them and then we just all play around and laugh and sometimes we just dance around with the poems. It's just so the elves are they're like little Santas.
Yeah.
Though not all of them are little. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. They're not all little. Um, some are bigger.
Okay.
Some are
Okay.
really big. Like some are like 6 feet.
Oh,
But there
wow.
are a lot of littler elves, so that
Oh,
works out.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. How are the outfits up there? Oh, I was just gonna say, do they have like special uniforms or are they outrageous colors, like very vibrant and loud, or are they more muted tones?
Well, do you want to take a guess or should I tell you?
I mean, if I had to guess, I would expect them to be a lot more, bold colors and something like that, very Rankin Bass. But I could also see it going the other way, where it's, maybe just kind of more muted jewel tones uh, and I don't know. I would say
No, no,
bold
no,
though. Yeah,
no, it's very bold. A lot of reds and greens. I
right.
know that's surprising, but different colors too. Like you can wear whatever you want to wear as long as you love it. You're not allowed to wear anything you don't love to wear.
Okay.
So, because it's all about joy. So no one has to wear things they don't like. And in the 80s, uh, some of the woman owls did have leg warmers. They showed me pictures, like all
Nice.
Christmassy, like with like Christmas trees and other little elves on. They even had leg warmers, like with their own pictures or pictures of people they loved on the sides.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
absolutely. So, but
Oh,
mostly
man.
red and green, mostly
Yeah.
bold. But if you like it more muted, the most elves are more bold. You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right on. Is there a lot of
that's a
Christmas
great question.
carols up there
Oh God, yes,
all the time? Yeah.
all the time, all the time. And if something isn't a carol, they'll sing it as if it's a carol.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
cool. So like you
yeah.
could hear like, I don't know, Go Your Own Way from Fleetwood Mac, but like in the Christmas Carol style.
You can go your own way. Fa la la la. You can call it on the shiny day. Fa la la la. Yes, exactly. If they just put it in a little better than I just sang it. But yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha.
Like everything
Okay.
gets a fa la 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 and like Christmas bells on it. And yeah.
Right on. I actually really would like that. And now I I really want someone to do a Christmas Carol version of Fleetwood Mac songs.
Oh, that'd be cool. Or what about like um having just as if it was the Christmas Carol of Fleetwood Mac songs, like with a little bit of future and past stuff in there
Oh,
too.
oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
fun. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But with a little bit of fa la la la, and it could be different rock bands are from the past, Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future.
Yeah. Oh
That's
man, I
a
could
good
totally
idea.
dig that. I could totally dig that. I'm all in. Let's Unfortunately, Christine McVie just passed away, and
Oh, yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
so I'm never gonna get to see them all unite, in a reunion again. But that's okay. I don't mind as long as I can see Lindsey Buckingham. I'll be fine.
When's the last time you saw them?
I've never actually seen Fleetwood Mac in concert. They're one of the few that I haven't seen. So I was hoping that one day, and maybe I'll get to. But of course, right now, Lindsay and Stevie are not. Well, I guess they're feuding again, I suppose, and so chances of a reunion are probably pretty slim. But that's okay. I don't mind. Okay, so maybe just one or two more.
Oh, of course.
Okay, before we go, I'm just gonna free associate random 80s things.
Okay.
And so like Mr. T dressed as Santa.
Oh, yeah, that was the Reagans, right?
Exactly, yep. How about Alf? He also dressed as Santa. We had Al Bundy as Santa. Now I'm starting to come up with my own theme.
Was Al Bundy really Santa?
He was, yes. It was a
A very bitter Santa,
he was, yeah. So there was it was like a promotion that the new mall in town was doing, and their Santa that they hired parachuted out of a plane, and his parachute didn't open and landed in the Bundy's backyard. But in order to appease all the children in the crowd that had gathered around, Al puts on the suit and plays Santa for the kids. It was an interesting. it was it was definitely an interesting episode there. Let's see, Balky from Perfect Strangers. He dressed up as Santa. I got a good one. Kenny Rogers dressed up as Santa.
Where?
It, well, it was he and Dolly Parton. It was that album that they had.
Oh, okay.
Um, in order to promote it, they had a special, a TV special that ran for about an hour, and they go to a children's hospital, and he's Kenny Rogers is Santa, Dolly is Mrs. Claus, and Norm from Cheers also dressed up as Santa.
How was he as Santa? Did he do anything?
He was actually a mall Santa for that Christmas episode, and they don't show him as uh, talking with children. They just show him like back at the bar in the Santa suit, and he's drinking with some of his with some of his fellow Santa ambassadors. So
Oh, okay. So Norm, he wasn't the postal guy, was he?
no, that
Or
was
the
Cliff. Norm was just a George Wendt. He was just the usual um, barfly, I guess.
okay.
Ho ho ho, and poetic you go.
So many Santas we did see back when it was the 18th. And all these different places we did go in our minds, the TV when we watched a TV show. But then, there was Mr. T as Santa for the Reagans. Oh, glory be! What a great Santa, too, because he just had that feeling of, ugh, which is a different way, but amazing through and through. And who didn't love Alf to know? And when he was at Santa, his happy face did absolutely glow. And then you have Belky too. Oh, ho, ho, ho! All the ho-hos did come through. And you see, there was Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Oh, yes, sirree. And they go to the children's hospital too. And all the little kids' eyes light up because it was Christmas joy through and through. And then lastly, you do know Norm from Cheers. Oh, he would absolutely glow. Oh, and after a parachute didn't open too, the kids, they couldn't be terrified. But what's more terrifying, Santa with a parachute that didn't come through, or Al Bundy being Santa Claus, a bitterness too? And then he goes to the mall and is not very happy because that wasn't his call, but he's Santa too. And maybe a glitter of hope went to his heart when that came through.
Oh man, that's so fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really fun to do. Like, I wish I've seen pictures of Mr. T as Santa. I don't think I ever saw video footage of him.
I don't know. I think there's like just snippets here and there that was recorded. I'm hoping to do an episode on Mr. T soon. He had
Is he gonna
oh, go ahead.
is he gonna come on your podcast?
Well, I'm not that big. I mean, I get a lot of crazy numbers in during the season, but the rest of the year, I'm pretty much a small fish. So I don't think I could get actual Mr. T, although I'd love to. I'd love to ask him about that whole, being Santa at the White House. And he did a special with Emmanuel Lewis. And it's it's really actually quite a beautiful special, but it's also really trippy. There's just some random things in there, this which is very reminiscent of I mean, that was like typical for the 80s. Just let's see let's throw everything against the wall and see what sticks, you know? So, yeah, so I would love to have him on, but I don't think I'll be able to get him. But you never know. I'm gonna try. We'll see.
I just think he'd be so much fun to talk to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would. Oh man, that would be like the greatest thing I ever did, I think.
'Cause he's so positive. He was just
hmm
so positive.
Yeah. Yeah, he really is. Just did a lot of good for people and really tried to hammer home about, stay in school and don't do drugs and just be a better person. So, yeah, I
And
learned a lot from Mr. T watching the A-Team.
and that's probably how he wound up as Santa Claus at the White House, because that was
Probably, yeah.
Nancy
All
Reagan's big thing, like, "Don't do drugs."
exactly. Yep,
So
yep.
and
But
Santa supports
but I
that
love it because he's got
message.
the big old gold chains and
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
no sleeves. I mean, it's the perfect. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do one more,
Okay,
and then we'll wrap it up here. And so this is gonna be an '80s Christmas song poem.
okay,
So I'm gonna list some '80s songs, Christmas
okay.
songs. So Wham had Last Christmas. There was Band Aid with Do They Know It's Christmas. The Pretenders had wrote 2,000 Miles.
How does that go?
I don't know the words, but
Okay,
uh, they actually wrote it about. It sounds like it's about two lovers that are like separated for Christmas time, but it's actually about a former bandmate that passed away, and the
oh,
2,000 miles represents like the long distance between them now. Um, let's see, but let me see what else. There was quite a few in the 80s, actually. One Christmas Catalog by Captain Sensible. It's a really good one.
how does that go?
One Christmas Catalog, too many. It's fun. Billy Squire, Christmas is the time to say I love you.
I guess I should have done some research on this
Sorry. Brian Adams has Christmas Time. Something about Christmas time. Da,
one.
da,
Okay,
da.
I'm
You
gonna
know that one. Let's see if I can get one more here. Pick a good one. Okay. I mean, there's quite a few like obscure ones, but we'll say Hall & Oates had Jingle Bell Rock.
was that Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell Rock? No, that
That
was,
that's the one.
oh,
Yeah.
that was Hall& and Oates?
Well, they did a cover of it. Originally, it was Bobby Helms, but they did a cover of it.
Okay, that's one I know. So
And finally, we'll end it with let's see. Okay, here's Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC.
okay, how does that go?
It's a rap, basically.
How does it go?
Let's see, it's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Mom's cooking something in collard greens. I don't know. I've never really. It's not big in like South Texas where I'm from.
Okay,
It wasn't played, but it's huge in like New York and like New England area. But like in South Texas, I mean we're like 98% Hispanic, so we heard like Feliz Navidad like all the time.
got it. And when is Feliz Navidad? That dates back a long, long time, doesn't it?
So it's like from 70 or 71, I think, is
Oh,
when
really?
yeah, it's actually quite recent.
I would
Um,
have guessed like the 1920s at the very
right? You
least,
would think
maybe the
so. Yeah.
1800s.
No, it's
Okay.
like that's where I'm from. Feliz Navidad is so huge. Like um elementary kids will know the words to Feliz Navidad. They might not even know the words to like Silent Night.
Oh, wow, that's kind of
So
cool. It's
yeah.
it's everything's so different. There's another thing I wanted to I just this reminded me of in the 80s. Is it okay if I share?
Yeah, go for it.
Um, so I was in New York for a little bit, before I went to Colorado, and there was this big thing in the clubs. They would pretend that famous people were going to be there, but then they'd have somebody dressed like a famous person.
Nice.
Like Studio 54 and all those places did that, I
Right.
guess, when they were on their way out in the
Right.
80s.
That's
Because I
funny.
think they were big in the 70s. And I was like, and it happened in LA too. And I'd be like, oh gosh, we're going to see this person. And then you're like, that's not even close
That's not
to like
them.
Prince.
What?
No. But you get so excited. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. The first one is what lost? What is lost?
What? No, it's Wham. It was Last Christmas.
Last Christmas. Okay. I will do my best. I might not all make it in here.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Fa la 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 la.
Fa la 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 la
La la
la
la
la.
la. Everyone got together to sing. Being grateful, kind, and trying to help was their thing. Band-Aid. Everyone would be there and it felt like they had it made. They felt like they had it made too because they were helping all the people who needed help, who were in poverty in Africa through and through. And they would say, don't they know it's Christmas at all? But the question really came to call is, are there people in America too who don't actually know it's Christmas here and to do because they also struggle too? But then in the 80s, there were all these other greaties. There was Last Christmas by Wham. It was really a great jam. I'm sure I'd have loved it if I remember it too, but it's not one I remember, but who knew? And then there is 2,000 Miles, which brought more tears than smiles because of missing someone, especially at Christmas time. That is a lot of people's holiday rhyme. So it's a bitter with the sweet, remembering how amazing it was. And maybe in years again, they will upstairs in heaven do meet. And Christmas Time by Brian Adams, too. It was something that people love to sing, but I don't know that one either in my head right now, too. But to make things more light and have songs be an ultimate delight, jingle bell rock. Ready? Sing it.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Jingle around the clock. And then you say, this is incredible. It's so much joy coming this way. And Christmas to Hollis Queens, were there some things as collard greens? There's so many Christmas songs and ones we'll never hear all day long that were created in the 80s, but never written down that people would just sing to people they cared about. And those moments would be profound. Or how many proposals of marriage happened during Christmas in the 80s, too? We don't know that, but what songs came through? Were they original? Or songs we actually knew? It doesn't matter because every word that comes from the heart is a beautiful, beautiful work of poetry and possibly singing art.
Yay! That was good.
Oh, thank you.
It's this has been so much fun, Amy. Thank you
Oh,
for being on here. I'm glad we could make it work.
yes. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's great to talk about the 80s and to bring a little bit of North Pole holiday spirit here. I
Speak
mean, you have it year round, so
well,
yeah.
I try. I'm very blessed to work at a Christmas store, and of course, this is like our busy season. So I'm working about 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 days a week, about 10 to 12 hours a day. So it's pretty exhausting. But yes, the when someone goes away and they've got their Christmas lights and they're ready to hang them up, and you see that they have like good quality lights for the first time, and they're so excited. It's the look on their face is just amazing. So it's definitely worth it.
So there's a lot of holiday cheer there too, I guess.
A lot. Yes, ma'am.
Got
Yes,
it.
very excited. So
And this is such a totally, it's been such a totally rad experience being able to talk to you.
that's
Absolutely cool.
right on. That's pretty dope. But it does make me wonder. So G.I. Joe taught us that knowing is half the battle. What do you think the other half of the battle is?
That is a great question. What would the other half of the battle be? Being willing to follow through.
Ooh, I like that. That's good. That's way better than mine. I
Oh,
thought
no, it's yours.
if knowing's half the battle, the other half is just rhyme so loud and proud you hear it.
That's beautiful too. I like that also.
That's well, I gotta say that's a line from Christmas in Hollis that I stole.
Well, things
Oh,
that are worth repeating are awesome.
there you
So,
go. But is there anything you want to plug or any,
sure. I still have some availability. I don't know when this is playing, to do virtual events if you want to get your family together, from around the country, around the world. Or also sometimes I actually also do it, when the family's in one place. And so, sometimes Santa will tell me some stuff and I bring that in the poem and I get everyone dancing along and doing the Santa dance. So if I have some availability for that as of when we're recording it, I don't know if I'll have it once it plays.
yeah,
So
so yeah. So we're recording this on the Feast of Saint Nicholas, December 6th, and this will come out on Monday, December 12th. So
got it. Got it. I still should
yes,
have some time. Feel free to give me a call. And I'm at northpolepoet.com.
NorthPolePoet.com. You guys, you heard her. It's just fun. Just yeah, you got to get her involved. Oh man. But yeah, this has been a blast. And I just want to say thanks again.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Oh, and Santa says, jolly hello. And he says, you're definitely on the nice list, not even on the
Oh,
wish list. You're
shucks.
totally there.
Well,
So
I try and sometimes I'm better than others, but if I can bring some sort of Christmas cheer to people, then it's worth it. So, right.
that makes Santa so happy. So
So again, let me say thank you. And I'll end it by saying this was so much fun. I wish that we weren't done. Unfortunately, it's time to go. And so check us out on our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram at Totally Rad Christmas, Twitter at Rad Christmas, or our Facebook group, Totally Rad Christmas Mall and Arcade, where you can make your voice known to us as well. We post anything and everything 80s or Christmas related. And if you're feeling like creating your own 80s Christmas poetry, leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us reach more people and spread some rad holiday cheer. Now, don't forget to check out our merch shop on tpublic.com and our super dope website, totallyradchristmas.com, courtesy of Tis the Podcast Elf, Tom Crow. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a safe night. Later, dudes.